You're watching Talking Points, a focus on the political scene in Lubbock and across the South Plains.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the political headlines of the past week. The U.S. Supreme Court will fast-track hearings on 2 Texas cases involving our abortion bans. One is the lawsuits brought by abortion providers against the Senate Bill 8, which bans abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected. The other is the Justice Department's case against Texas for the same law. Those arguments will happen November 1st. Now, this will not be a review of whether or not abortions are constitutional, but it will be about the merits of both of the cases brought against the state. Usually, the Supreme Court only gets involved after an appeals court has made a ruling, but not this time. The state's abortion law will be allowed to stand at least until the Supreme Court makes a ruling on this. There's a new city manager in Wolfworth. Their city council this week unanimously approving the hiring of Randy Criswell. He's been involved in local government for 24 years and has been working as the city manager for Mineral Wells. Remember, the former Wolfworth city manager Daryl Newsom, Mayor Mike Wright, and Associate Judge Karen Newsom all resigned in June, citing irreconcilable differences over how the city should operate. Lubbock Congressman Jody Arrington among those introducing a new bill meant to help our smaller energy-producing operations. It's called the Marginal Well Protection Act. It will keep the Environmental Protection Agency from levying heavy fees on methane emissions on those often family-owned wells that only produce smaller amounts of oil and natural gas. And speaking of irreconcilable differences, earlier, longtime state senator Kel Seliger has decided not to go back to this legislature in 2023. Now, his district covers some of you to our north and west, but was redrawn this time to give a little more influence to voters to our south. Seliger was big into education during his time in Austin, but also got sideways with Republican leadership on several issues, including local control, leading to several vocal conflicts with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Mr. Patrick actually called on the governor this week to bring everyone back to Austin for a 4th special legislative session. Why? Well, he'd like to see more penalties for those caught voting illegally and a law on election audits. An obvious shout out to Mr. Trump. The governor also didn't get his law on no vaccine mandates, but as our Daniel Marin tells us, so far, the governor doesn't seem interested.
Things are quiet at the state capitol now that the 3rd special session is in the books. Legislators pushed through GOP-crafted political maps, COVID relief funding, legislation on trans student athletes, and added some property tax relief to go before voters. But Wednesday, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick tweeted, though he feels lawmakers finished a, quote, strong conservative session, more needs to be done. Patrick wants a 4th special session to make illegal voting a felony and to have legislators provide more funding for that ongoing 2020 election audit. But that does not appear to be in the governor's plans. A spokesperson for Abbott told us in part, quote, there is no need for a special session at this time.
I'll say it's been an ultra-conservative agenda that the governor and his Republican legislature have put forward.
Rose Clouston, the voter protection director for the Texas Democratic Party, feels lawmakers missed the mark this go-around and should have focused more on the state's power grid and getting more Texans vaccinated.
They have done everything except for prioritize Texans and what we really need from our government.
Political science professor Dr. Richard Pineda says, though a 4th special session isn't unheard of, politically, the governor got enough accomplished for his base, redistricting in particular.
And that's going to be a big win for the governor, and it may be one of those cases where that's a big enough win to make up the difference for any shortfalls.
And we move into campaign season, and no surprise that the statewide candidates are starting to move back through the area. And we're glad to bring back our friend Mike Collier, Democrat, now officially running for lieutenant governor once again. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Brian.
You know, the redistricting maps have now gone to the governor, and of course a lot of talk about changes in some of the bigger cities and areas of the state. Here, our representation basically stays intact as is. Why should folks here care about what's happening with the maps in Austin and Houston and places like that?
Well, I think it affects different parts of the state differently. I mean, I think there's a lot of anxiety about how the districts are drawn. For example, where I live in the Houston area, the sense that I get from talking to folks in West Texas is they're pretty relaxed about what's happening here. But I don't like the way districts are drawn because it's politically oriented. And you hear this said, and I believe this, that politicians should not be picking their voters. Voters should be picking their politicians. I think in Texas we should move to an independent redistricting commission so that the districts are not drawn to keep any party in power, but so the districts are drawn so that we have good representative government. Several states have done this. That's what I would advocate as lieutenant governor. That's what I would try to provide the leadership and see if we can't get there.
I believe the last time you were with us, we talked about the need for real property tax reform and a plan there that has not been seen thus far. The legislature this week voting to boost the homestead exemption now up to $40,000. That'll save folks about $175 odd. Is that a step in the right direction, or should people be voting for this when that comes around next year?
Yes. I'm for anything that brings the property tax burden down. The important thing is there's a distinction between temporary fixes and permanent solutions. The reason for that is that we might get a little break. $175 is not inconsequential, but appraised values keep going up. And so the problem is that we don't have a permanent solution to the property tax problem. The reason why property taxes keep going up is that because state policy continues to shift the tax burden onto the backs of homeowners and small businesses. And that's wrong. And so we have to look at the whole tax code and see, you got winners and you got losers. And the losers are homeowners and small businesses, and we need to fix that permanently.
You know, it seems as if the state legislature just had a terrible time, maybe because Texas is so big, finding a good balance for what the state pays to our schools from those taxes versus what the homeowner pays to the schools from those taxes. Do you have something that may be a little bit better for everyone involved here?
Well, certainly. I mean, if you go back to, say, 15 years ago, you would see that the state paid the majority of the funds, and property taxes were less than 50% of the cost of schools. That has changed dramatically, and this is, you know, my opponent, Dan Patrick, is part of this. They've allowed the local content, the local bills that we pay to go up, state to go down. That just isn't right. So the only way to get real property tax relief, but still have the money for schools, which is very important, and in my travels around the state, particularly in East and West Texas, people care about their schools. And that's where our children get their education. We all know teachers and retired teachers, and we're all parents. So the only way to solve that problem is for the state to get back in this game and start contributing to the public education costs.
A lot of talk about home taxes, but what's your thoughts on commercial real estate taxes right now? You know, I'm told there are folks who have tracts of land in East Lubbock, for example, who are paying as much or more in property taxes than, say, a Walmart pays for theirs. Is there a balance to be had there? There's
a real flaw, a loophole in the property tax law. This goes back to 1997. It's called the Equal and Uniform Law, and it is exploited mercilessly by the owners of large commercial industrial properties. And it affects everybody in the state. And if you own a downtown skyscraper in any one of our big cities, if you own a Walmart, if you own one of these big box stores and you have a team of lawyers that can go fight, they could exploit that loophole and underpay their taxes. And they're underpaying their taxes by billions of dollars a year. If you can't lawyer up, you're not going to get that break. And that is very unfair, particularly to homeowners and small businesses.
You still want to be a proponent of good business, a good business climate, though. So does that get in the way of what you're trying to do there? Because a tax incentive would seem to me like if you're going to open a business, well, that's a good idea, right?
Yeah. No, listen, I come from the business world. And the big companies, they're just doing their job. They're trying to get the best deal they possibly can for their shareholders. And I don't blame them for that. I mean, that's their motivation. But we on this side, on the policy side, have to make sure that it's fair. We have to make sure that it's a level playing field. They will chip in like they used to and still create lots and lots of jobs. And that's so important. You know, I'm not going to take any money from the corporations. I don't have to. It's not like I'm anti-job creation. I come from the business world. We just need to make sure that we have an honest broker so that these things are win-win. We got to create jobs and keep taxes fair, and we are not seeing that in this state. And homeowners are getting hurt, small businesses.
And lots more to talk about with Mr. Collier on more topics, and we will continue that on next week's program. Straight ahead, not everyone honest about reporting everything on their tax returns, but does that mean the Fed should monitor your bank account? See what you think next on Talking Points.